Welcome to the Commander Crew, a Magic the Gathering Commander YouTube channel where we ask the question, who's your commander?
We want to thank you for watching our videos. You can help support us by liking this video, subscribing to our channel, and hitting the bell notification icon.
You can also go to thecommandercrew.com to check out our t-shirts, masks, pet hoodies, and other Commander Crew goodies.
If you want to buy any of the cards seen in this video, be sure to click our TCG Player affiliate link in the show notes below.
Lastly, you can help us out by heading to our official Patreon page and becoming a direct supporter of the channel. Now let's
get to the video.
Oh no.
What's up, everyone? It's your boy Eddie from the Commander Crew, and today we are going to be discussing Sythis, Hand of the Harvest. So Sythis, Hand of the Harvest is an enchantment legendary creature, a 1/2, and it reads, whenever you cast an enchantment spell, you gain 1 life and draw a card. This card is bonkers. This is a new Enchantress. I'm extremely excited for it. We already have a ton of Enchantresses, but I love the fact that this is a legendary one. This is one that we can use as our commander. This is something that we can really go nuts with. And it's a spoiler from Modern Horizon 2, another set that I'm really excited for. So without further ado, let's kick off a quick take on Sythis. So first off, we have our Enchantresses. We have the usual. We have Mesa Enchantress, which pretty much does the same thing. Whenever you cast an enchantment, you draw a card. Verduran Enchantress, same thing. Whenever you play an enchantment spell, you can draw a card. Eidolon of Blossoms. Whenever Eidolon of Blossoms or another enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card. This card is great because, one, it's an enchantment creature, which means when we cast it with Sythis on the battlefield, we're going to be drawing a card. And then when it enters the battlefield, we draw a card off of it. And then every other enchantment that we have enter the battlefield after the fact, also we draw a card off of it. So yeah, this card is absolutely bonkers with Sythis. It's going to help us to turn through our deck really, really quickly. And we're going to be able to draw a crap ton of cards. Then we have our Garthian Enchantress, which is a 0/1 Enchantress that has Shroud, and whenever you cast an enchantment spell, you draw a card. Citizen Champion, same thing. Whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, 1/1 counter on Citizen Champion, and you get to draw a card. Then we have Enchantress's Presence, which is an enchantment that says whenever you cast an enchantment spell, you draw a card. And Satyr Enchanter, same thing. Whenever you cast an enchantment, you draw a card. These cards are so good in this deck. These cards are definitely something that you're going to want to put in. It's a ton of recursion. You're going to be drawing a ton of cards, and you're going to turn through your deck very, very, very quickly. Before we leave this Enchantress section, we're going to talk about one more, which is Ephemeref Enchantress. Ephemeref Enchantress reads, whenever enchantment is put into a graveyard from play, draw a card. Our enchantments are going to die. Our enchantment creatures are going to die. Our enchantments are going to get destroyed. And whenever they go into the graveyard, this is a great way. This is a great Enchantress to have in play to be able to draw cards off of them entering the graveyard as well. In addition to that, there are some enchantments, in fact, quite a few enchantments that you can sacrifice to do other things with. And if you're going to be doing that, this is great to have in the battlefield. When you sacrifice them, you gain whatever that ability is. In addition to gaining whatever that ability is, you get to draw a card. Very, very good in this deck. This is definitely something that you want to run. Next up, we have Protection. So we're going to be playing a lot of enchantments. We want to make sure that we're able to protect those enchantments. And Sterling Grove definitely does the trick, which reads, other enchantments you control have Shroud. It also has a built-in tutor. Remember when I was talking about sacrificing your enchantments? Well, this one has an effect that when you sacrifice it, you get to search your library for an enchantment card, reveal it, shuffle your library, and then put it on top of your library. Then we also have Greater Oromancy, which is a 2-mana enchantment, which is when we cast it is going to help us to draw a card and gain a life. And then in addition to that, other enchantments you control have Shroud, and enchanted creatures that you control have Shroud. So if we do run any type of auras, we're going to be able to give our creature Shroud as well. Next up, Removal. So if you're going to be running removal in a deck that's all about enchantments, you should probably run enchantments that help to remove things. So there are a couple of different ways of doing that. Song of the Dryads is one of them, which basically turns a permanent into a forest. Darksteel Mutation does a similar effect where it'll turn a creature an opponent controls into a 0/1 indestructible insect. And this is amazing because that insect loses all the abilities that the creature once had. You can pretty much stop somebody's commander on the spot, or somebody's really, heavily valued creature that's on the battlefield right on the spot. This card is absolutely amazing. And then you also have spells or enchantments like Seal of Cleansing, where you can pay 2 mana, put it on the battlefield, and then you can sacrifice it at any point at instant speed and destroy target artifact or enchantment. There are other cards that do similar effects to this. I just threw this one on so that we can talk about it and make sure that we have it in our mind when we're building this deck. Next up, we have Recursion. So when our enchantments go into the graveyard, whether it be from the ones that we sacrifice to their own abilities or from our opponents removing them, we want to be able to get them back. So some of the best ways of doing that are cards like Auramancer, which will get it back into your hand. We have Monk Idealist, which will also get it back into your hand. Starfield of Nyx, which is going to actually bring it onto the battlefield, which is kind of crazy. It also has a second ability where if you control 5 or more enchantments, and then each other non-aura enchantment that you control is a creature in addition to its other types and has a base power and toughness equal to its CMC or mana value. This card is crazy. If you've ever seen it in an enchantment deck, and I'm sure that you have, it gets absolutely insane. Then we have Hall of Heliod's Generosity, which is a land that's able to put an enchantment from your graveyard back on top of your library. And then one of my all-time favorites, Replenish, which is going to return all enchantment cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. This card is insane. Run it if you're running an enchantment deck that is able to play it. We have Open the Vaults, which pretty much does the exact same thing. It costs a little more mana, and it does it for all of your opponents, but you're running more enchantments than everyone else, so I do think this is worth it in the deck. Just pay attention to their graveyards, especially with regards to artifact, because artifact decks are very, very popular, and you want to make sure that you're not bringing back all of somebody's artifacts, especially not a Blightsteel Colossus or something similar. So pay very close attention to that type of thing. Next up, we have repeatable enchantments. So we have cards like Broken Fall, which you're able to cast it for the 3 mana, draw a card off of it, return it back to your hand to regenerate target creature, and then if you have the mana, keep casting it and keep doing that. That's going to help you to turn through your deck very, very quickly, especially with Sythis on the battlefield or other enchantresses out there. We have Flickering Ward, which pretty much does the same thing, but for 1 less mana. So you can play it for 1, draw a card, return it to your hand for 1, play it for 1 again, and so on and so forth, and just keep drawing cards. We have Conviction, same thing. Now, keep in mind, these cards do have other effects, but the main reason that we're running it is to turn through our deck very, very, very quickly. We have Molting Skin, same thing. And we have Skyblade's Boon. This one I'm going to spend a little more time on because it's a newer card. So Skyblade's Boon is a 2 mana enchantment aura, which reads, Enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 and has flying. You pay 3 mana to return it to its owner's hand. Activate only if Skyblade's Boon is on the battlefield or in your graveyard. So this is absolutely terrific. 3 mana, whether it goes into the graveyard or whether it's on the battlefield and you just need to bring it back to your hand to be able to recast it, you can do that for the 3 mana. Next up, tokens. We have a Johnny's Chosen, which reads, whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, create a 2/2 white cat creature token. If that enchantment is an aura, you may attach it to the token. So with the amount of enchantments that we're going to be putting out onto the battlefield, we're going to be able to make a lot of cats. Same thing applies here with Archon of Sun's Grace, which reads, flying, lifelink, Pegasus creatures you control have lifelink, and whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, create a 2/2 Pegasus creature token with flying. These things have flying. You're going to put a lot of enchantments on the battlefield. You're going to make a lot of flying creatures, and then you're going to be able to swing house at your opponents. Then we have Sigil of the Empty Throne. I'm sure you've seen this if you've ever played against or ran an enchantment deck. It reads, whenever you cast an enchantment spell, create a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying. It's a must include. Whether you're going the token strategy or not, this is pretty much a win con in these style of decks. So then we have Crested Sunmare. So with this deck, you're going to not only be drawing a lot of cards like I keep talking about, and not only playing a lot of enchantments, you're also going to be gaining life every time you play those enchantments. So let's not forget about that little piece on Sythis. So This card reads, other horses you control have indestructible, and at the beginning of each end step, if you gained life this turn, create a 5/5 white horse creature token. So all you have to do is play an enchantment on your turn, and at the beginning of your end step, you get to create a 5/5 indestructible. Yep, that's pretty good. Next up, we have Angelic Accord, which reads something similar, but you have to gain more life. So at the beginning of each end step, if you gain 4 more life this turn, create a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying. Next up, we have ramp spells. So one of my favorite things to do in an enchantment deck is play ramp spells that are enchantments, that enchant your lands and help to get you a ton more mana. So first up, we have Wild Growth. 1 mana, enchant land, enchanted land. Whenever enchanted land is tapped for mana, its controller adds an additional green. Simple, straight to the point. 1 mana, you cast it with Sythis on the battlefield, you're going to draw a card, and in addition to that, you get to ramp. This card is amazing. Some more cards like this, we have Fertile Ground, which does a similar effect for 2 mana. We have Utopia Sprawl, same thing, does a similar effect, but for 1 mana. And there are many, many, many more. Just do a quick Scryfall search or a quick EDH Rec search, and you'll see plenty of these enchantments. Lastly, in our ramp section, we have Serra's Sanctum. So Serra's Sanctum is a legendary land, and it's pretty much the Gaia's Cradle of enchantment. Yeah, this card reads, tap it, add white to your mana pool for each enchantment you control. You're going to have a lot of enchantments on the battlefield. If you can afford this card, or if you already have this card, I would definitely throw it in this deck. So that is our quick take on Sythis. Let us know what you think in the comments down below. If you have any other cards that you'd like to talk about with this commander and how great they work with it, definitely throw it in the comments down below. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that bell notification so you get access to all our latest videos as soon as they come out. And also, don't forget to check out our website, thecommandercrew.com, where you gain access to our latest YouTube videos. You also have access to our Twitch, our Patreon, our Teespring, where you can check out some of our latest merchandise, our TCG Player affiliate link, Ink Gaming affiliate links, Amazon affiliate link, and of course, you can connect with us on Twitter, Instagram, and Discord. With that being said, Discord is free and you can play some games with us. So that is it for today's video. Thank you for watching, and until next time, take care.